This is the Retirementality. This is a place where I want to change your mentality about retirement. And today I'm going to do my first reaction video. These videos seem to be popular on YouTube and I haven't done one yet. So I'm going to jump in the mix and throw out my reaction video. Today I shall react to Logan Paul moving to Puerto Rico. It seems to be making a lot of controversy in Puerto Rico. There's a lot of back and forth. I'm in some forums. I'm in a couple different Puerto Rico groups online. I own property in Puerto Rico. I go back over there a lot. I'm remodeling a house over there right now. So I'm in Puerto Rico a lot and I'm connected with Puerto Rico. I even wore my Puerto Rico hat today. So today I'm going to tell you why Logan Paul is moving to Puerto Rico. I want to get into the numbers. I don't want to get into the controversy, whether you love him or hate him. That is not the point of this. I'm going to do a video. I'm sure I'm going to get negative comments. So just if you hate Logan Paul, you're going to hate this video. Go ahead and hit the dislike button and leave a comment down there before you even listen to anything. But stay to the end of the video at least and watch some of the numbers of why somebody like Logan Paul might consider moving to Puerto Rico. I'm going to show you how all these people who are leaving California, they're going to Nevada, they're going to Texas, they're going to Florida, they're going to get lower taxes. And I'm going to show you how they're just kind of rounding the corners off and they're not really saving big money. And Logan Paul is actually smarter than these guys and what he's trying to accomplish, at least tax wise. I'm going to get into the numbers. I'm going to break it all down for you. Let's get into it right now. Okay, I am going to admit right off the bat, I did not know who Logan Paul was before he said he was moving to Puerto Rico. So I Googled him. He started to pop up on some of these forums and things that I'm in, and people were just saying, we don't need him on our island. I'm actually in this group called expats. It's about people who move to Puerto Rico who are expats. There's a whole debate whether you're an expat if you come from the US because it's part of a US territory. We're not going to debate that. I just found a lot of irony in these expats saying we don't want him on our island and all this stuff, and it got really ugly. There were very few defenders, and I just went on there and I was like, I can't believe a group of expats is saying they don't want somebody to come to this island. That's their island. It's just, I don't know. People are crazy. Logan Paul actually even did a reaction video himself to all the memes that are popping up about him moving to Puerto Rico. So he reacted to the memes saying what a douchebag he was in some of these and whatever. So I want to get into the numbers. Why would he do this? Okay, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't spend 5 hours digging into all the numbers. I just did a couple of little Google searches, which anybody could do to try to break down the numbers. We all know like Stephan is leaving California and going to Nevada. Joe Rogan is leaving. All these high net worth, famous individuals are leaving California because it's getting, the number one thing I think is the taxes, the control. Tesla left because of the control they were trying to put on top of him, on top of the taxes. They're just not business friendly. They're not friendly to high net worth individuals. I don't know why people stay there. But going from California to Texas or Nevada, you're just shaving off the top little layer of taxes. You're still paying all your, you're just shaving off the state taxes. You're still paying national taxes. U.S. taxes, U.S. corporate taxes if you're a business like these guys are. So I want to show you the difference on what the numbers look like going to somewhere like Nevada or Texas and going somewhere like Puerto Rico. I'm just going to hold my notes so that y'all know that I have notes. California, if you're an S corporation, which I would assume most of these guys are, they're big enough, they're making enough money. They're probably not just an LLC, but they don't have enough employees to be a C corp. They, probably these guys their corporations are formed as S corps. So in the state of California, an S corp has 1.5% in state taxes. They also allow for dual taxation, which most states do. So they'll tax your corporate income, and then when they pass dividends or income on to the owners of the company, that income will be taxed again at the state level. So let's talk a little bit before I go into the numbers. How much does Logan make? By most estimates, he's making about $20 million a year. In 2018, it says that he was the highest paid YouTuber. It goes on to say that he made $10 million in 2019. His fight with KSM, it made about $11 million, which I guess they split plus fees. With his endorsements, everything else, his merchandise line, everything, Nobody knows exactly how much this guy's making, but most estimates put it at around 20 million. All right, let's say they're full of shit. Let's cut that number in half. Let's say a dude makes 10 million. Let's work some numbers off of $10 million for the S Corp. So in California, the 1.5% corporate tax on the state tax of the S Corp would be 150. I'll put some numbers up over here. I'll scooch over a little bit. Is it better on that side or this side? Maybe I should put them over here. Let's put them over here. Okay, so I'm closer to my light now too. I wonder if my hat's gonna mess up. Well, just bear with me. Okay, $10 million with a 1.5% tax on the state level. That's 150 grand. Boom. Okay, put that up. So on the pass-through income, you're going to be taxed on the state level at 12.3. I heard somebody else say 13.2 or something. So I've got my numbers at 12.3. That's another 264,000 in state taxes. So that's 264 plus 150. Let's call it 400K. So these guys who are moving from California to Texas or Nevada, that's what they're saving. On $10 million of income, they're saving 400K, which is right in line with the video I watched earlier about Stephan leaving, and he has about the same amount of followers, 2.5 million followers. He makes about 10 million, and he was saying he would save about 400K in taxes. And people go, whoa, dude, 400K, that's so much money. You're gonna save two Lamborghinis every year, or an extra, whatever. So 400,000 is nothing to sneeze at if you're saving that in taxes. But let's go one step further and say you're gonna move to Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico can make up their own tax laws, being a U.S. territory. So let's go into what U.S. corporate tax rate. Trump lowered the U.S. corporate tax rate from 35% down to 21%. So on $10 million, a 21% tax would be $2.1 million in corporate taxes. Let's say Biden comes back and cancels out all of Trump's everything he did, because that's what he seems to be doing. If he were to do that and raise corporate tax rates back up to 35% on 10 million, that's $3.5 million. I don't need notes. My brain can do that math, but I still have them here. And so, okay, so you got somewhere between 2.1 and 3.5 million in your corporate taxes that you're paying, plus the measly 400,000 that you were paying to California. So if you move to Puerto Rico and you can qualify for the Act 60 for your business, and you can get your business into the Act 60 program, your corporate tax rate effectively becomes 4%. So 4% of 10 million is $400,000. So let's just go with the lower of the two numbers. You'd say at 21%, the Trump tax rate is 2.1 million. And then you add back in the 400,000 that you're paying in taxes. And then you also subtract out the 400,000 from California. So that's a wash. So you basically saved $2.1 million in taxes by moving to Puerto Rico. Stephan saved 400,000 and thinks he's a genius. And Logan Paul moved to Puerto Rico and saved $2.1 million in taxes. That's a huge difference. So what about cost of living? Who cares if you just save $2.1 million, what your cost of living is? I did dive a little bit into what real estate Logan Paul owns in California. He paid $6.6 million for a 9,000 square foot house back in 2017. I don't know what it's worth today. I looked to see if it was for sale. I didn't get any information on that. So let's assume it's, who knows what, I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the California market. Maybe it's tanking, maybe it's going up. I don't know. Let's assume it's just worth 7 million. So he's going to be moving to Dorado in Puerto Rico. So I went and I looked at a couple of websites to see what you get for 6 or 7 million in Dorado, and you get basically a similar house. You'd think you get a lot more house for the money, but not in Dorado where he's moving. That's where a lot of the wealthier people leaving for these tax breaks are moving. The funny thing I did see was I went to 3 different websites, and there was almost no income in the $6 to $8 million range. Everything was either sold or under contract or pending. So it looks like he's not the only one thinking about this. I heard that 50 Cent was also just in Dorado last week, or is coming next week, or something to that effect. So there's a lot of people considering this. When you look at the numbers, it's just a no-brainer why you wouldn't want to move to Puerto Rico. I did another video I'll link to up here entitled "What Happens if Puerto Rico Becomes a State?" All these incentives will go away And I think I'll be curious to see if these people stick around or not. Depends on how much they fall in love with Puerto Rico while they're here. Some people say Puerto Rico will never become a state. Some people say it'll happen next year. Biden was saying in his election speeches that he wanted to make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. both states. So we'll see what happens. Obviously they need more. They need Congress and Senate and everything else, but I'm not going to get into the politics of it. Just wanted to get into the numbers about it. And so that is what the numbers look like. People say these colonizers coming to Puerto Rico. People say these people are evading taxes. Nobody says you're evading taxes if you move from California to New Mexico or Nevada, or to Texas. Everybody thinks, oh my gosh, you're so smart. Why would you stay in California and pay those stupid taxes? But for some reason, when you move to Puerto Rico and you take advantage of the tax laws that they have, people want to call you a tax evader, and a whole different debate erupts. And anyway, I'm not going to get into the debate. I'm going to put the numbers out there. That is what they look like. Logan, if you want to have me on your show, I would be happy to come and talk about it with you. I also did a bunch of videos about how to buy property in Puerto Rico. So anybody who is thinking about moving to Puerto Rico, subscribe to my channel. And then check out all the videos that I have on how to buy a house in Puerto Rico. You can actually go look at the house that I bought, and I'm 1 year into a remodel project. So that's getting close. I'm about to wrap up that. We'll have the big reveal of my house coming out in the near future. So I don't know if you found this video interesting. Leave me a comment down below, not just the haters. If you like this content, give me a big thumbs up, leave me a comment down there. And if you've never been to the channel before, welcome. Please consider subscribing. I talk a lot about Puerto Rico. I talk about the Caribbean. I talk about Florida. I talk about buying real estate and reaching financial independence so that you too can have these tax problems in your life. Once you make enough money, you got to figure out how to save it and not give it all away to other people. That's what I work on here, changing your retirementality so that you too can live the good life on a Caribbean island like me. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Hey, did y'all know that I have a second channel called the How to Beach channel? Guess what it's about? It's about everything about the beach. We do gear reviews, we do beach tours. I take you all throughout the Caribbean, throughout Puerto Rico, throughout Florida, and when the world opens up, we'll take you to more places. But if you haven't been over to my second channel called How to Beach, if you wouldn't mind, head over there, check it out, and subscribe to that channel if you're interested in anything that has to do with the beach. Thanks.